What's up, everybody? This is Trinity Gamer here, and I'm bringing you another video today in the Xenoverse 3 series. And today we're going to be talking about a little something more generic than normal, but it'll still be fun. But for those of you that are new, this is a series of videos I'm doing on the Xenoverse 3 potential Dragon Ball game, in which everybody in the community, I believe, would love all these different ideas. And this is a collection of the community of what I think would be what I like to call the Dragon Ball game to end all Dragon Ball games. And this is just different ideas that we've seen in the community thrown around, and just a collection of all these different great formats and schemes in the game that can be implemented. And this is part 2 modes, sub part 4, the story modes. So let's begin. So first we're going to talk about changes to the history of the different stories. And I'm going to talk about, I believe that there should be the main villain, who sends minions similar to Xenoverse 2 when Turles and Lord Slug were sent by Toei and Mira. And the main villain I talked about in my first video was, I believe, somebody that should be on the God of Destruction tier, or maybe even above that, to make them that much more of a threatening presence in the game. So I believe they should send different minions out to change the history as you go through it and progress through the story. And they must completely change the original story. And they also must be original as well in their own concepts. Don't make them Turles or Lord Slug. Make it some kind of new enemy that we haven't seen before, or that is completely new to Dragon Ball overall. And then I think that, honestly, after seeing DLC 6 in Xenoverse 2, or Extra Pack 2 if you guys want to call it that, I think we should involve Fu trying to help correct the timeline, because he was kind of an anti-hero character is how I perceived him. And I think it'd be kind of cool to see him try and help correct the timeline, and maybe make twists and stuff throughout the stories. Have your own little maybe have a few side mission or a few side story. Just kind of something that would be interesting to add into that. I think that we should have different changes take over the course of the story, such as heroes gone bad. So maybe turn some of these different heroes bad, or have the villain power up, same as Xenoverse 2. And I believe that this would kind of make a nice new change to the original story, because we don't want to just play through the entire story as we have in countless other Dragon Ball games. We want a new and kind of different original take, but on the same story that we all know and love. So, and then I think that we should bring in different characters from across the different series, such as bring GT characters to Super, or Z characters to Dragon Ball. Maybe you can introduce Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta to fight Merge Zamasu or something like that, or change it some different way, or even bring in Raditz into the King Piccolo saga and have him absolutely destroy King Piccolo, and him be like the next enemy, and just kind of go through that and just do something similar to that effect. Now, I'm going to talk about where we are going to begin. The Dragon Ball story. So this is going to be sub mode 1, the Dragon Ball story. This is unlocked from the beginning. This is where you start with your created character and going back and helping change history. And this story mode should follow all the main events of the original Dragon Ball storyline. Different changes in history of the Dragon Ball stories I talked about before. Start with the main adventures of Goku when he first meets Bulma and all that stuff, and then fighting in the 21st World Martial Arts Tournament, and change something to that effect of like where Master Roshi has gone evil, or have Goku not turn into a great ape. So it kind of just changes the whole flow of the future. Then we go to taking down the Pilaf gang, face off against the Red Ribbon Army, including Mercenary Tao, and then face off against Demon King Piccolo and his army. And then we end with the take on the 23rd Martial Arts Tournament. Maybe give Piccolo a kind of a beef up and power him up a little bit. And then, etc. Make different changes to different parts of the story, some of the different fillers, such as the rabbit guy and all that stuff. Then let's move on to the Dragon Ball Z story. Then we're going to start after completing the Dragon Ball storyline. This story mode should follow all the main events of Dragon Ball Z storyline. Different changes to the history of Dragon Ball Z story, but similar to Xenoverse 2, but then different at the same time. Don't just give all these different characters power-ups and all that stuff. Like I said before, make some of the heroes go bad earlier in the series. Maybe make a take on where Gohan actually protects Raditz or something. I don't know, just something similar to that effect. Just kind of play around with it. Then add in random opponents to the stories, like I said before. So, during let's say the Boo saga, let's bring back Perfect Cell and Boo absorbs Perfect Cell or something to that effect as well. Start with the Saiyan saga, go to the Namek saga, then the Android saga, then the Cell saga, go to the Boo saga, and that's where you'll end. Next, we'll go to the Dragon Ball Super storyline. Okay, and we're going to unlock after completing the Dragon Ball Z storyline. Then this story should follow all the main events of the Dragon Ball Super storyline. Different changes to the history of the Dragon Ball Super story. Okay, add in random opponents to the stories as well. Maybe in the Battle of Gods, you bring in Rose Goku Black, all right? Or maybe bring Golden Frieza into the Universe 6 tournament, something like that. Battle of Gods arc, Resurrection of F arc, followed by Universe 6 tournament arc, followed by the Goku Black arc, then the filler arc, and then the Universal Survival arc. And then the filler arc, is that big kind of gap between the Goku Black arc and the Universal Survival arc where we saw Copy Vegeta and all of them. Then we'll finish with the Dragon Ball GT story. This story should follow the main events of Dragon Ball GT. Since GT takes place after Super, technically, even though it's not an official canon story. Add in random opponents to the stories. Search for the Dragon Ball Saga, then the Baby Saga, then Super 17 Saga, and the Shadow Dragon Saga. And maybe in this mode, during the Baby Vegeta Saga, you have Rose Goku Black show up instead, and then maybe Baby takes over his body instead of Vegeta's, and it just makes that much more of a serious situation. Just something completely random, wild stuff. Make this, out of the ordinary and very original. All right, just don't play through the main story overall. Then we talk about the movies: Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Super movies and the specials. And the story should focus on the movies. Different changes to the events happening in the movies. So, let's say instead of Metal Cooler returning, it's Metal Frieza returns and somehow clones himself the Big Yeti Star instead of Cooler. I don't know, something like that. Add in random opponents to the story. So, in the Broly story, bring in Android 13. Have Android 13 and Broly team up. In the BoJack movie, have Janemba show up, or have Cooler show up, or Lord Slug, or something like that. Change it up. So we'll start with Curse of the Blood Rubies from the Dragon Ball movie series, then Sleeping Princess and Devil's Castle, followed by The Mystical Adventure, then The Path to Power, Bardock, the Father of Goku, gotta have that one, great movie, one of my favorites, Dead Zone, The World's Strongest, The Tree of Might, Lord Slug, Cooler's Revenge, The Return of Cooler, Super Android 13, Broly the Legendary Super Saiyan, BoJack Unbound, Plan to Eradicate the Saiyans with Hachiyak, Broly's Second Coming, Bio Broly, Fusion Reborn, and finally Wrath of the Dragon. Okay. Oh, and then the Bardock special where he turns Super Saiyan for the first time. And maybe that's where you unlock Bardock in his Super Saiyan form. And then all those movies, and I'm leaving out the Resurrection of F and Battle of Gods movies because those were arcs and super, so there's no point to have them as like in the movie section as well. And then, if this game comes out after it, maybe have the origin of the Saiyans movie or whatever it's going to be called be another story in this. Maybe if we do end up meeting Yamoshi in the movie, have Yamoshi as a playable character, something like that. Now, we're going to talk about the Universal Story Mode. There should be several different missions that take place in other universes, kind of similar to the Parallel Quest mode, but this is an actual part of the story mode that you have to go and fix changes in history to the other universes. The recruitment for the Tournament of Power, maybe for some universes you play through that and you have different changes to that you have to fix. Maybe the backstory of Zamasu, or however you say it, just kind of see where he came from and everything and help him get to where he was supposed to go. History of the Gods of Destruction and the Angels, this is just a concept since we don't know all their histories, but maybe they can create some kind of mission that kind of tells the story of their ascension to the God of Destruction tier, or how the angels came about and everything like that. So I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, go ahead and subscribe to me at TrinityGamer333, and if you want to, give it a like and comment on the video with your thoughts and ideas on something that we could add as well into the story mode, and check out my next video, which is going to be part 2 modes, sub part 5, boss and raid modes. Alright, and that's the next time, guys. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the video. Have a good day.